Hey guys, welcome to today's video. I'm gonna be testing out new drugstore makeup, one of my favorite topics here on YouTube. I love filming these videos and I just love trying out all of the new affordable stuff because you can find those really amazing hidden gems and I am definitely here for it. I think this year so far, drugstore makeup has been very hit or miss, and I definitely plan to do a roundup of the best and worst new drugstore makeup really soon because I know we've kind of been bombarded with a lot of stuff. And I know even for me, it's kind of hard to keep track of, okay, what did I really love? What did I not? So anyway, let's just get straight into it. The first product that I have is something new from Pixi, and this is their Tinted Lip Jelly Lip Mask. So when I saw this, it looked so familiar because it's reminding me, packaging-wise at least, of the Laneige Bouncy and Firm lip mask. So this one actually comes in colors. The Laneige one is completely clear. And so I got the red one, which is called Amore, but there's a pink, like a really pale pink, and then there was also like a melon color. Normally I wouldn't get red, but usually with products like this, they're very sheer. So I was thinking the pink probably wouldn't even show up on my lips, and I wasn't quite sure about the orange. It was kind of a little bit neon looking, so I figured this one might be the best bet. But just like the Laneige one, it has the little applicator that's right inside the top of the cap, which is so cool. I mean, it's literally almost identical packaging. I'll just show you guys. You have the little applicator that pulls out right there on the top, and this is what it looks like. It's just kind of a little silicone wand. And inside, ooh, the texture of this looks just like the Laneige. It's really glossy looking and definitely more of that jelly texture, very K-beauty inspired. So I just want to show you, hopefully you can kind of get an idea of what this looks like. But it's definitely like more of that bouncy texture, really, really shiny. I think this is gonna have a lot of gloss to it. So I'm just gonna put this on and kind of let it sit during the rest of the video and we'll see how moisturizing it is. But oh my gosh, it feels just like it. This is an awesome dupe and the price isn't bad. I know I always think in my head that Pixi is more like high priced for the drugstore, but this is $12 and I think as drugstore makeup has just been going up and up, Pixi really doesn't seem that expensive anymore. It's basically the same because they haven't really raised their prices, but everybody else has. So for a lip mask like this, $12 is really a pretty good price. And I want to say, like off the top of my head, I don't know how much the Laneige one is, but I think it's like 20 something. I want to say 24. I could be wrong, but this is probably like half the price of that. And it feels amazing. It really does have that same glossy, bouncy, jelly texture that this one does. And I love that it gives you a little wash of color too. It is definitely more on the sheer side, but it feels really good. So I'll just use the clear one at night and then the colored ones during the day. Also from Pixi, they have a new foundation stick. So this is called the On the Glow Base and it says Foundation Moisture Stick. I got mine in the shade Nude. I had no idea what color to pick, but I'm hoping this one's gonna be okay. It didn't look super yellow. And this says that it's a hydrating foundation stick with a natural finish that's infused with fruit extract for antioxidant protection. It says use on bare skin or over primer and that you can layer it for extra coverage. So I do really enjoy their blush sticks that come in this same packaging. They also have like bronzer ones and highlighters. And at first I thought maybe this was gonna be a skin tint, and I know, like I said, I'm kind of done with those because they really don't give you that much coverage, but they're not calling it a skin tint, they're calling it a foundation stick. So I'm hoping that this has a little bit more coverage. And they did say that it's buildable, so if you want extra coverage, you can layer it. So I'll just show you what this color looks like. It looks like it's gonna be decent. It doesn't look particularly yellow or orange. So I'm just gonna go ahead and swatch it so you can see what this looks like. Actually, I think it's gonna blend into my skin pretty well, but it's also looking a little bit sheer. So I don't have too much hope that this is gonna give me a lot of coverage. Okay, so let's take a look at my skin before. I have a little bit of redness on and around my nose, some sunspots and freckling on my cheeks, and we'll see how well this covers. So I'm gonna start over here on this side. Ooh, this does feel very, very dewy. And I'm just gonna spread this out and I think blend with my fingers first and we'll see how that works. I do have a brush though, because I wanna see if maybe I can get more coverage that way. But I'm gonna start with my fingers. This is actually, it feels just like a moisturizer going on. I don't think it's covering much at all. Maybe a little tiny bit, but it's extremely sheer, but it looks very natural. Like you couldn't tell that I'm wearing foundation even if you got right up close to my face. It doesn't look like anything. There's no streaks, there's no like line of demarcation. It just kind of went right into my skin like a moisturizer would. And it does have that slight bit of almost like a greasy feel. So anybody whose skin is more oily, I don't think you're gonna like this at all. If you've tried the blush sticks in the same packaging, you know how this feels. It's basically the same kind of thing. They're very dewy and very emollient, so I think this is absolutely gonna be suited better for dry skin. But that being said, I mean, this looks really nice. I think it's covering a little. It's just evening out my skin tone, but it's really not covering up all that much. So if you need or want more coverage, I would say this is sheer at best. I will try to build it up a little bit because I know it did say that it was buildable. But with this texture that's so greasy and emollient, I don't know how well it's going to really build upon itself. To blend this out, I'm using the new Morphe M103 foundation brush, and this is more of a dense brush, so I thought it would maybe give me a little bit more coverage, but I have to say, I think I have more coverage on the side where I use my fingers. This one is just a little bit more sheared out. So I think I like finger application best when it comes to this product. I'm not even gonna bother with a sponge because that's gonna like lift up so much of it. I'm not gonna get any coverage at all. But also I think the color is pretty good. It's so sheer that I think color matching isn't really gonna be too much of an issue for most people. And to be honest, I think this is a pretty close dupe or alternative to the Anastasia foundation stick. So if you liked this one, it's more like a skin tint in a stick. If you liked this, I think this is really similar, except with the Anastasia one, I noticed it kind of breaking apart on my skin. It didn't lay smoothly, but the Pixi one actually looks really good. It's very undetectable. I think what I mean to say when I'm comparing these is that it feels the same. It has that really like emollient tinted moisturizer kind of feel, but just in stick form. It doesn't feel like a standard foundation stick. If you think of some like the Fenty one or the Dior, those have more of that drier, more matte finish. This is definitely more on the glowy side. So I'm just gonna go ahead and build this up a little bit more. I wanna see if it truly is gonna add more coverage or not. I don't really notice it doing that. It looks pretty much the same. I'm just gonna do a little bit more over here. Yeah, I mean, at best, you're getting a sheer to light coverage with this. I wouldn't say that it's even medium, but let me just zoom you guys in. I'll show you close up what this looks like. It really does look flawless, and not in the sense that it's covering everything that I want it to cover necessarily, but it just looks like my natural skin. You can't see that it's foundation at all. It doesn't look like I actually have product sitting there. So I think it's an incredibly natural looking product, and it basically just feels like I applied an additional moisturizer. So at the moment, I'm not hating it, but we'll have to see if it holds up because my skin is feeling a little bit sticky and tacky. I don't know that this is something that's gonna completely dry down all the way, and I know like I did have problems with this one, so we'll see if the Pixi one ends up doing the same thing. All right, I mean, so far so good. Pixi coming through with the dupes. I love it. I think that's something a little bit different for them, but whether I end up liking the foundation or not, I just like the direction that they went with it. It's something, like I said, it's a little bit new and interesting. So let's move on to LA Girl. I have some new products from them that look also really interesting. So these are called the On Cloud 9 Bouncy Eyeshadow Palettes. So I ended up getting 2 of these, and they also had blush and bronzer duos. So I got the lightest one. They do come in other colors, but I was just, you know, I'm on a budget this month. I'm trying to limit how many things I buy. So I just got the one cheek product, and I couldn't decide between these 2 eyeshadow palettes. They were $8, so it's not like they broke the bank or anything, but I just couldn't pick. So I'll just insert some quick swatches and close-ups. So the first one that I got is called Breezy Nude, and this one has neutrals, but some of them have a little bit more of a rosy undertone. So I liked that. It's a little bit more on the warm side. You have that beautiful gold shimmer and then a champagne shimmer as well, and then 3 matte shades. And then the second one that I got is Airy Taupe. This one's a little bit more on the cool tone side, and it's so pretty. You have, again, your 3 matte neutrals, then you have a brown shimmer in the center of the palette, and then there's this icy white topper that is so pretty, and I think this would look amazing layered on top of that other shimmer shade. So I'm probably gonna use this palette today just based on what I'm wearing, but I wanted to show them both to you. And the texture of this palette is really interesting. It's almost reminding me of like the ColourPop Super Shock shadows, except you have them within a palette instead of as singles. And I think that's so fun. I know that, was it Huda Beauty that did those like all cream palettes a while back? I wasn't a big fan of those. I felt like they were a little bit dry. They didn't really build up like the color on your eyes. So I didn't love those. I know like Danessa Myricks also has that all cream palette, or maybe she has a couple of them. So either way, it's not a super common thing to see, especially at the drugstore. So anyway, I definitely want to start with this one, and I want to use this taupe brown in my crease. I'm gonna pick it up with the BK Beauty 202 brush. I guess another example would be Natasha Denona. She does a lot of cream shadows within her palette, but none of them have been all cream. Usually you have powders mixed in as well, but the creams are nice because there's no fallout, and typically it's very silky, really easy to apply. It just has a nice glide across your skin. It's actually pretty effortless to apply. I'm just gonna do some over here. I did not prime my eyes today. I meant to, I just completely forgot. So I guess we'll see how this holds up without primer. Hopefully it's not gonna crease, but like I said, these are not greasy emollient cream shadows. So I have a feeling they'll probably be okay. Next, I wanna pick up this deepest brown shade at the end, and I'm picking this up with the Rephr number 15 mini. So I'm just kind of gonna pack that right onto the outer corner. I love how these have zero fallout. There's no powder going everywhere. Nothing's like falling underneath my eyes. All right, so I think for my lid, I wanna do what I was saying before, and I wanna take this brown shade that's in the middle. It's not super sparkly, but I just wanna see what it looks like if I put this white topper over it. I think that's gonna be a really pretty effect. Oh wow, yeah, I just put it on my hand. Look at the shine on that. This looks almost like the shadow that I have in one of these Patrick Ta duos, the $42 ones. Let me just swatch this next to it and we'll see which one has the most sparkle. Okay, so yeah, we have the LA Girl combo here and the Patrick Ta shadow right here. Like, okay, that LA Girl shadow is super impressive. I mean, it's 2 of them, but the sparkle is really intense. All right, so I'm just gonna put down the brown shadow first, and I'm just using my fingers because I find that cream shadows and these bouncy textures just work really well with fingers versus a brush. So I'm just putting this one down. It does have tiny, tiny little micro glitters, but it's not, like, as you can see, it doesn't have a lot of impact. It's a little bit more subtle. Still, I think that when you're going to use shimmer, it's always better to have a cream formula because the glitters are not gonna go everywhere. So now I'm gonna just pop this white on top, and I think that's where the magic happens. Look at that. It just gives that wet kind of scattered light effect. How beautiful. This is one of the reasons I love drugstore makeup, because it can really surprise you like this, and you paid $8 for it, and it just makes it even more special, you know? I just really hope that these hold up on my eyes now that I've been raving about it. Hopefully it doesn't let me down in the end. All right, next, I don't have a new mascara, so I'm just gonna use the e.l.f. Lash Extender. Just gonna keep it all drugstore for today. And if you haven't tried this one, I think it's definitely the best tubing formula at the drugstore. It doesn't smudge or flake, and it removes really easily. All right, let's move on to bronzer and blush. So again, this is the On Cloud 9 Bouncy Blush and Bronzer. I got it in the shade Misty Mauve. So this was the lightest option that they had. We have kind of this pink blush up here. It looks a little bit warm to be considered a mauve. I usually think of those as more of a cooler undertone, but we'll see how it actually swatches out. I'll just show you guys some close-ups. So we have that, and we also have the bronzer. And these do look a little bit more sheer once swatched out than they do in the pan, which I'm happy about, because when I first saw the bronzer, I thought it looked a little bit dark, but I found the same things with the eyeshadow, that once you blend them, they sheer out quite a bit compared to what they actually look like in the compact. So I'm gonna start with the bronzer, and I'm gonna use my BK Beauty 107 brush. I'm just gonna dip it right into the compact. By the way, I love how big the pan sizes are because you can get a really big fluffy brush into them. So I'm just gonna start applying bronzer where I normally do. If you're new to my channel, I discovered applying bronzer this way, kind of across your cheeks where the sun would naturally hit, where you get all your freckles, and it looks so much more natural. I always used to apply bronzer this way, like a contour, and once I discovered this way, it just made so much more sense, and I feel like it looks really nice. It gives you that pretty sun-kissed kind of look. So this formula is beautiful. It just kind of melts in, and it actually is smoothing my pores. I was noticing that the Pixi foundation was kind of starting to highlight my pores, and I think it was because it was so greasy, but this is mattifying everything, and it's just making it look so smooth. And I love the color too. It's a little bit warm, like a bronzer should be, but it's not orangey. It almost has a little bit of a reddish undertone, and I love that because it looks really natural. I'm just gonna add a little bit under my chin and kind of blend down my neck slightly, just so my neck doesn't look stark white compared to my face. But yeah, that looks so seamless on my skin. Really beautiful. All right, let's move on to the blush. I'm just gonna pick this up with the same brush, why not? And I'm gonna just stamp this right across my cheek. Look at how pretty this color is. It's like the perfect warm pink. It's just, the whole thing is giving me beachy vibes, like I just got back from vacation. And this is just so smooth. If I compare the skin here where I put the blush and bronzer to the skin here, this just almost looks airbrushed. It just does such a nice job at smoothing out texture. All right, so this is super pretty, and it actually helped the foundation to dry down a little bit. If I touch my cheek right here where I don't have any blush or bronzer, it still feels a little sticky, but like here where I put the blush, it just feels so smooth and it's a little bit more mattified. So I have to say, so far, these are big winners. I really enjoyed using these. I think it's just something different and new and interesting. I don't want to officially say I love them right away, but I kind of love them right now. All right, so for lips, unfortunately, I don't have anything new, so I'm just gonna use the Maybelline Lifter Liner in the shade Big Lift. This is one of my favorite lip pencils, and I'm just gonna use this right on top of the Pixi mask. Using lip liners as lipstick is something I've been doing a lot lately, and as long as you put them on either on top of a balm or you put a balm on top afterwards, they don't feel drying, and it kind of is just like creating your own lipstick. Yeah, this color is so beautiful. It's like the perfect rosy pink. All right, guys, so here is the finished look. Like I said, I'm gonna do a wear test, so we'll see how these hold up. I'm really curious to see if the glitters in the eyeshadow are gonna have any fallout. I think, you know, when it comes to cream shadows, they do start out creamy, but over the course of the day, they tend to dry down a little bit more, and sometimes you can get that like flaking off of the glitter or anything that's in the formula. So I'm hoping it doesn't do that, but we'll see what kind of a mess it makes on my face later, and just how everything else wears as well, especially the foundation. I don't have high hopes for it because it's so greasy, but we'll have to see. So I will check in with you guys in a bit. Hey guys, it's about 3 p.m. I wanted to do a midday check-in. I don't always do these, but I think they're valuable because it's good to see how things are looking around like the 4 to 5 hour mark, and then we'll do it again around the 8 or 9 hour. So as far as the foundation, it looks okay. I don't think it looks quite as perfect as it did when I first applied it. When I first applied it, it looked just like my skin, and now I'm seeing my forehead lines. It's kind of settling a little bit. It's making like a weird crease right here. It looks okay though. It doesn't look dry. It's not grabbing to dry patches or anything. So the eyeshadow looks amazing. It actually hasn't left any glitter fallout or anything. My son is here. But anyway, it hasn't left any glitter fallout. It still looks really good so far. The blush is still holding its own. So anyway, I will check back with you guys in another few hours. Hey guys, it's about 9 p.m. Just wanted to hop on and share my final thoughts. So let's start with the Pixi products. I love the lip mask. I just reapplied it and it's amazing. I really think it's a solid dupe for the Laneige one. I just love how it almost feels like it hugs your lips. It really is pretty long lasting. It almost like makes a film on top of them, which you can really feel for a long time, even after the shine wears away. I feel like the hydration lasts a while, so I love this. I may at some point try one of the other colors as well. I think this is great. As far as the foundation stick goes, I can't even really call this a foundation stick. It's a tinted moisturizer or a skin tint. It doesn't give the coverage of a foundation, and I don't love it. It's okay. I do like it better than the Anastasia because it didn't break up or look patchy on my skin like that one did. It actually looks really smooth, but it just didn't offer the coverage that I'm looking for. And over the course of the day, I did notice it kind of sinking into the lines. Like, even though it's dewy and moisturizing, I feel like my skin almost looks a little bit dry, so it's kind of weird. That being said, I think this would be a great option for anybody who just wants something super quick and easy. You don't like a lot of coverage, you like more of a skin tint option, and if you have drier skin, it's probably going to be the best for you. If you're more oily, I think you might find this a little bit too greasy and dewy. And then as far as the LA Girl products go, I'm so impressed with these. My eyeshadow still looks really great. I did end up getting a couple of little pieces of fallout here. When I looked in the mirror midday, about 4 to 5 hours in, I didn't notice any glitter fallout at all. Now I'm seeing just a couple of like little random pieces under my eyes, but nothing too dramatic. Most of it did stay on my lids, so I'm very happy with the longevity of these. And as far as the blush and bronzer, I think it still looks pretty good. It's maybe slightly faded, but I love how smoothly it went on. These truly feel like high-end products. These creams feel just like the cream shadows in the Natasha Denona palettes, and the blush and bronzer just melted right into my skin like a lot of other high-end cream formulas. And I love that they have a powdery dry down and they're not like dewy and sticky. So anyway, guys, I know there weren't a ton of products in today's video, but I think there were some definite winners here. Really, the only thing that I'm kind of like meh about is this foundation, and really I don't think it's a bad product. I think it held up well. It's just that it's not my personal preference when it comes to the coverage, but like I said, if you like something a little bit more lightweight and undetectable, you might really enjoy it. So anyway, guys, I want to thank you all so much for taking time out of your day to watch this video, especially if you made it to the end. Thank you so much. I'd love to hear your thoughts on these products down in the comments below. And if you have some extra time and you'd like to watch another video of mine, I'll put some right up here that you could check out next. Thank you guys so much. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in my next one. Take care, guys. Bye.